Let's talk about New Hampshire, Ryan's home state. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
That's fair to say. Well, that's true. But first, let's talk about the positive things about New Hampshire, right? First off, it's Ryan's home state. That's positive. That's a positive thing right there.
No alcohol tax?
No alcohol tax, no sales tax in general. Also,
Yep, so typically the people that live on the Massachusetts border, whenever they want to stock up to New Hampshire, they go, come on, it's not exactly a secret, Adam.
whoa, don't blow up my spot.
Don't act like you've never done it before.
Don't blow, I'm a tax-paying, tax-abiding, law-abiding citizen, Ryan. That is...
It's not illegal. If you're over 21, to travel to a different state to buy alcohol. It's not illegal.
No, but I think, don't the states look down on that if you go up there and you buy some stuff in New Hampshire? I'm pretty sure the state does. I'm pretty sure that's kind of illegal.
If they do, it's probably just like behind closed doors, like, those fuckers.
And New Hampshire is also beautiful. I've been up there quite a few times, especially during the fall, the foliage. It's gorgeous, plenty of state parks. What are the numbers? 4.7 million acres of forest land in New Hampshire, and there's 93 state parks. That's a lot of state parks. And if you're into it, there's great skiing, there's great snowboarding. I personally am not. There's a lot of mountains up there too. But an interesting thing about New Hampshire is that they only have 2-year governor terms. Yes, very interesting. And just recently, the current governor, Chris Sununu, he served 5 terms, so that's 10 years, but he announced that he wasn't going to run for a 6th term, leaving the door wide open for someone to run, someone to get that seat right there, Republican, Democrat, Independent, RFK Jr., whatever. Someone. Before I get into the candidates, though, the favorite from each party, I want to talk about the 2-year governor terms. It's a little controversial. For one, it does make the governors more beholden to the people. That's nice. But also, some say that it gets in the way of long-term planning, and that it also makes it so you have to campaign more. Campaigns can be exhausting. They cost a lot of money. When, the incumbent usually wins anyways, most of the time, not all the time. That's the 2-year governor term. Only Vermont. Vermont's the only other state that has that. It's a weird little thing that only New Hampshire and Vermont has. I don't know what the fuck you guys are doing.
Yeah, I cannot speak for anyone on why I think
But let's get into the Democratic candidate, the favorite. She's running against, I'm just going to talk about the favorite. The leading candidate for the Democrats is Joyce Craig. She is the former mayor of Manchester, New Hampshire. She's raised about $2.3 million so far on August. The recording of this day is August 27th. Could be more after this, and probably will be, let's be honest. A lot of it is from individuals and labor unions, so that's actually a good sign. She's not bought out by the corporate people, whatever. But the Republicans have attacked her for her for her governance or misgovernance of Manchester, New Hampshire. They dubbed it Craigville with the homeless encampments and the rampant crime. They always paint this picture of cities. We don't always know if that's true or not. They always just fearmonger, and they know that gets their type of voters out to vote. But whatever. But the Republican candidate is Kelly Ayotte. She got the endorsement from Chris Sununu, so she's definitely going to win the Republican nomination. She was the senator in 2016 before losing to Maggie Hassan. She was also the New Hampshire Attorney General, Law and Order. She's really emphasized her experience as the Attorney General. The Republicans in New Hampshire use this phrase, don't mass it up a lot, as obviously painting Massachusetts as this city liberal hellhole that they always like to paint. She's made millions of dollars sitting on corporate boards at News Corp and bar systems. She also gets a lot of money from her super PAC. They've contributed about $300,000 to her campaign. Lots of money from Tuscan brands as well contributed to her campaign. And then here's the thing, because I was looking at where she's gotten the money, the source and stuff like that, but just an educational thing. Donors can use nonprofits to hide basically their donations to candidates, and these are super PACs. This was a Citizens United Supreme Court case back in the day. But yeah, people can use super PACs and donate to super PACs and run ads on behalf of the candidate, and we actually don't really know where that money is. And the super PACs can also donate to the candidate. But yeah, we can't really track where that money's coming from, but we just know that they're taking that money. I would say she's probably the favorite to win the election because, people like Chris Sununu, but I haven't looked at the polling data in detail, so we don't know. Okay. See, we have this election going on, but what are the hot button issues that New Hampshire is facing? The hot button issues. Let's get into it. After Roe v. Wade was overturned, Chris Sununu signed into law abortion restrictions, banning abortion after 22 weeks, and now I believe the law is banning abortion after 24 weeks. They also took away state funding for pro-abortion groups like Planned Parenthood. Obviously, the Democrats want to get rid of this law, want to expand abortion access, and Republicans, they're actually signaled that they want to keep the law the same. So it doesn't look like they want to restrict it too much, but they want to keep the law the same. In 2021, the state created education freedom accounts, which allowed families to use public money to go to school of their choice, including private schools and even including homeschooling.
Oh God, the fucking voucher thing.
Yeah, see, you know about this. The results of this is that money's going to vouchers, and it's not going to public schools. So public schools are getting gutted, and then the vouchers only cover part of tuition. So like if you're a lower income family, I mean, you'll get a little bit of a voucher, but you're still going to have to cover a lot of the cost. And maybe the other option is public school, so it's like it kind of puts you in a tough bind right there.
It's essentially giving the rich some extra cash to be able to go to a private school.
Pretty much, because I mean, the voucher is not enough for a lower-income family, so I would hope that gets changed and maybe you give more to lower-income families at the very least.
Or at the very least, get rid of the whole voucher thing altogether and be like, hey, private schools, if you actually want funding, either become a public school or, you know, Wall Street.
Yeah.
wealthy investors, just, you know.
People who support it say that this keeps the government out of education and it empowers families to make the right choice. But right now, New Hampshire is getting sued for not providing adequate education, as in the education that it is constitutionally required to give to the public. Republicans, of course, want to expand the credit, but Democrats want to misdirect the funding more to public schools. Okay, so that's a pretty hot button issue. People get riled up about education. You know, people get riled up, and of course they do. You know, education, that's the foundation, I guess, of a lot of things in our society. Also, another issue in New Hampshire is fentanyl opioid overdoses. There were 463 opioid deaths in 2022. A lot more than the rest of the country. I mean, this is an issue that New England has in general. Their rate of opioid deaths is higher than the national average. And according to an NIH study, a lot of these opioids are laced with fentanyl, with an over 1,000% increase from 2010 to 2017. Republicans want a more law enforcement, get rid of the drug trafficking type of approach. Democrats want a more mental health treatment approach. How do we treat these people and everything, okay? Well, according to a 2023 New Hampshire housing assessment, New Hampshire falls 23,500 units short of current housing needs. Median sales prices for homes have also gone up. They've increased 50% from June 2020 to June 2023. Rent is also increasing. Republicans want to reduce wait times for building permits for developers and people looking to expand on their housing. Democrats want to convert office space into residential, and similar to what they're trying in Massachusetts, and they also want more affordable housing. And this is a weird one, actually. So New Hampshire received nearly half of its trash from Massachusetts and Connecticut. So New Hampshire is a notorious, I guess, dumping ground for states in New England.
News to me.
News to you, news to Ryan. New Hampshire is advantageous for trash dumping as state laws limits ability of local officials to reject landfills. A lot of these dumps are also privately owned, so these waste management companies lobby state officials to protect landfills and also, in some cases, even allow their expansion. In 2019, mass-produced 5.5 million tons of refuse and exported 2 million of it. So potential solutions is to ban landfill expansions, like keep the current private ones, but just like maybe just chill on the other ones also. Maybe make some more landfills public. I don't know. But yeah, that's a weird little issue going on.
Or another thing is if it's people driving from out of state to go up to New Hampshire and be like, hey, fuck you, here's our trash. Be like, hey, if it turns out you don't live in New Hampshire, we're going to fine you a lot.
That's a good idea, too. A little good idea, I think there are ways around it. I just think there's a powerful trash lobby, waste management lobby in New Hampshire, maybe. I don't know. Maybe Kelly's getting more. Maybe someone's bought out by them. Yeah, that's an interesting issue that New Hampshire's facing. And you're like, yeah, Massachusetts, we don't even keep our own trash. We dump it to the poor New Hampshireans. Maybe we should stop doing that down here.
Yeah, I mean, come on. on. We don't have a liquor tax, and your way of faking us is by giving us your trash? Seriously, there's a reason why people in Massachusetts have the nickname massholes.
That is true. That's kind of a masshole move. We go up there, we buy their products, no state tax, and then we dump their trash there. That's kind of a dick move by us on our part.
Hashtag dick move.
Hashtag dick move. So the congressional races around the area are pretty non-competitive. Most of the incumbents are going to win, but the House of Representatives is very important. You know, legislative body, people focus on the president a lot more, and the president's very important, but whoever wins the House, whoever wins the Senate, you know, that's very important too. Like if you win the presidency, if one party wins the presidency but another one wins the House, there's going to be perhaps a lot of stagnation there.
So yeah, that's something people tend to forget about when it comes time for the presidential election.
The congressional races in the area aren't very competitive, but there is one congressional race in the area that will be competitive, and that's the seat of Chris Pappas. He represents New Hampshire's 1st congressional district. He's only held it since 2019, as the district is known to be competitive. But a little bit about Chris Pappas. He's openly gay. That's pretty cool. And he's a Democrat. He's openly gay. He's a Democrat. He supported Israel, so he's had protesters at his office quite frequently in the last few months, you know, for what's going on in Palestine, between Palestine and Israel. And yeah, their protesters are not very happy with them. He called the From the River to the Sea comments that pro-Palestinian protesters use. He called those comments anti-Semitic. I mean, he's a Democrat. He's definitely one of the corporate Democrats, so like he'll maybe move the needle a little bit, but not like too much. He's very establishment. I mean, he's in a competitive district, so you have to understand that. For this election, he's raised about $2.1 million. He's running against 3 Republicans. He's veering a little bit more right to appeal to maybe more right-wing moderate voters. He wants to keep his seat. We got to think like he probably won't change much, but perhaps it is slightly better for him to have the seat than to not have the seat, I guess. I mean, like, I know those types don't really change much, and there's a lot of hypocritical sometimes, but like, yeah, perhaps it's a little bit better for him to have the seat. But yeah, he is in a competitive district. He is definitely in trouble to lose his seat, and he's veering slightly right to perhaps appeal to more right-wing voters. But that's Chris Pappas. That's New Hampshire's 1st congressional district right there, okay?